Okay, well, welcome to episode 19 of Illuminating Rounds. Martin, hello, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, no, really well, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, good. And, excited to get this one out because we've got a shout about our live game coming up, which is going to come out probably very similar time to this episode hitting the internet.
It's nice. Yeah.
So we're going to play on May the 19th, which is Tuesday, and we're going to play, I think, about 3 o'clock.
Yes.
UK time. We're going to be playing Urban Guerrillas. We have... Go
on. No, I was just going to confirm. So is that... that's actually Greenwich Mean Time, isn't it, I suppose, for people who work it out, can't they?
Yeah, UK time. So I think we're 5 hours ahead of East Coast time in America, and all bets are off.
I'm sure a quick YouTube, if not YouTube, a quick Google check would sort that out. Yeah,
exactly. And so we're going to be playing live. That game will definitely appear at some other point. Maybe as episode 20. We'll put it as just a.
And do we know what game we're playing yet, Dave?
We do. We're playing Urban Guerrillas.
Amazing.
We also know the sides we're playing, so we rolled for sides. And before we rolled for sides, we agreed that the Germans would get the balance. So naturally, I got the Germans.
Yes.
So now it's not crazily unbalanced. It's pro-Russian a little bit. And
it's a squad, isn't it? The Germans get a squad.
Yeah, which is significant.
It's significant, but it's a moderately big scenario, isn't it? So it's not huge either, is it? It should be. Yeah, feels about right.
Yeah, exactly. And so I expect that's going for probably about 5 hours or so, and we'll stream it. We have no idea whether my upload bandwidth is going to be good enough for this kind of stream, so it really is a good test. And maybe Martin, one day maybe you'll host it instead. I don't know whether your bandwidth is going to be better than mine at some point, but it's a test for us. We'll see how it goes. And
people are going to be able to pop in and watch. That's the idea.
Yeah, exactly that. They can pop in, watch. They can kibitz. Now the problem is we can't do this. We can't stream both on YouTube and in Discord for our voice channel. So one of the issues, because it would have been great to have people on the Discord channel having a chat. We'll be able to do text Discord, but we won't be able to do voice because our voices are being recorded by the streaming software, so we can't put voice out on both.
Yes.
But of course, come in, chat, have a kibitz. It's absolutely fine. We don't mind. It's more to test whether we can do this the whole live game. We may break for a bit of cup of tea and a sandwich at some point, but other than that, the best we can do. So, what are we going to do today, Martin?
Today?
What are we going to do?
Oh, what are we going to do? Sorry,
I thought you by surprise.
I thought you were asking what we had done. I was going, I've only just kind of started talking. Right, so no, what we are going to do today is we are going to talk about our bonus. We're going to do a draw for the bonus pack for patrons. We're going to talk about the live game, where we've sort of done that, really, haven't we?
Yep.
And most excitingly, we are going to play Galician Getaway from March Madness 64.
Yeah, the full rulebook pack that the Kansas City guys in Circle Productions kindly sent over to us. Big scenario.
It is.
Good scenario.
Well, it looks interesting. I think it's going to be wild. There's Germans coming through. There's jokers to the left. There's Germans behind. There's Russians left and right. They're coming on, and I think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I think there's even 120mm OBA, which is pretty hefty, even with Harrison fire, isn't it? I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, as we might find out. Yeah, absolutely.
May very well do. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So we'll talk about that. We've got some more advice from Toby. I talked to him about the order of units to move, and now I noticed today there's a great follow-up question on YouTube that we're going to post to Toby, all about the issues about when you prep fire and it doesn't quite go your way. So which we've all had. You just want to break these one guys. What happens when you fire and it doesn't break, and then you end up just doubling down, prep firing more, and how do you cope with that? Have you played any other games this week?
Yes. So I played. Me and Martin played. We got to the end of the first date of the Purple Heart draw scenario. That was so that's going. That's great. We got to the end of that. I really enjoyed that. We've been playing at the narrow passage, I've been playing with Derek Cox and Gordon. I can't remember Gordon's last name, and it's from Festival Budapest 14, and it's a 3-way scenario.
Right. Okay.
So we played that about a week ago. We're going to finish it off next Sunday. So that's been really interesting. Not always short. I mean, there's lots of issues with 3-way scenarios, aren't there? Because they take a while to, the turns take a long time because everybody's got to have their defensive fire phase. But it's a very interesting situation. It is an interesting situation. Yeah, really quite enjoying that.
And you said to me that there was, so obviously there's 3 players and there's 4 nationalities.
Yeah, so this is very complex. I don't know whether this is the time to go into this. It's very complex. There are there's a German player, there's a Russian player, and there is a Hungarian player. And the Hungarian player plays 2 sets of Hungarians, one of which is allied with the Germans and one of which is allied with the Russians. So it's quite an odd kind of setup in that respect. I mean, I'm not a very bright guy. I struggle to get my head around it, but it does work. Once we started, it works, and it's another swirling melee, I suppose.
Okay, all right, it's pretty good. So I played Simon Taylor, our old buddy that we've been in the UK scene. He's coming back into ASL again. I'm twisting his arm to play a bit more. So we played Defiance on Hill 30, which I played before against Nick, another kind of returning player. I can't say enough good things about that scenario. Defiance on Hill 30 is such a good scenario for people who want to both attack and then defend. And it's not overcomplicated. You've got the Germans just have a mortar and a couple of machine guns. The paratrooping Americans have just a mortar and a machine gun as well, and it's a great kind of introduction again. I think so. If you've played a bit and you want to get back into it, really worth it. It
has that sort of feel of a slightly introductory scenario, isn't it? It's quite there's not a lot of extra rules in there.
Yeah, and every time I look at it, 9 turns, it puts you off the terms. 9 turns looks like a huge game. And actually, it plays in about 3 hours if you start to finish. It really is quite, because the Americans have only got 4.5 squads for the most part of the game.
Yeah.
And so it really does play very, very quickly. Really recommend it for people trying to get other, for example, other war games into ASL as well. It's a great example of what ASL can do as well in terms of the startup. So, okay, with top 5s as well. We're going to talk about our top 5 favourite guns.
I completely forgot about that. You're absolutely right. I've got my notes, so. Yeah, no problem.
That sounds good. All right, so shall we do our draw for our patrons? So, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here we go. This is the draw for the Winter Offensive bonus pack. So you can see I've got all the patrons listed here. So imagine that you are numbered 1 to 34. So that's the number of patrons we have now. So again, thanks very much. So we're going to jump over to random.org. We are going to roll a dice between 1 and 34, and we're going to generate a result, and that result is 12. So we can see that number 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Jason Wirtz. Just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, Jason Wirtz. Congratulations, you have won a copy of the Winter Offensive pack. So we'll be in touch. Well done, congratulations. And we'll do another one in a couple of weeks' time.
Awesome.
All right, so moving on. Martin, let's talk top 5 guns.
Top 5 guns. Okay. Shall I go first?
Yeah, go first for number 5. You're number 5. What's your top 5?
Yeah, number 5. Okay, so I try not to be too obvious here, okay? I wanted to go for a German anti-tank gun, and I decided to go for the 8.5 centimetre Pack 38, which is much smaller than the kind of the 88 that people often sort of talk about. Now I've got the numbers here, but I can't read my writing. I can't see if it's 8 or 18. Okay. So if anybody wanted to look it up. So okay, why do I like this gun? Okay, a couple of reasons. First, it's light enough to move. I kind of imagine that sort of scene in the films where they sort of pick up the non-shooty end and like turn it around on the wheels and like sort of aim it like that at the tank. So I can imagine them doing that. I think it's 10, it might even be 11 to, you know, sort of movement numbers. So it's very, very sort of easy to move. It's 13 penetration numbers, which even towards the end of the war is not to be sniffed at if you're getting side shots and things like that. Obviously, +1 when it's close up.
And what's the millimetres of it?
It's 8.5 centimetres. So,
so this is the. So is that the 80?
Oh no, sorry, I beg your pardon. Sorry, no. Right, okay, I've got this completely wrong. Sorry, it's 50. Right. It's 50 millimetre.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
The reason I'm thinking is because it's actually number 8 is the gun number in chapter 8.
This is a 50L anti-tank gun.
It's a 50L anti-tank gun, right. Exactly. That's right. And it also has, and of course lots of guns do, a gun shield.
Right.
And in the event of a near miss, when it's being fired at by ordnance. Instead of getting sort of like, you know, the 12 flat shot that you traditionally do when ordnance gets a hit, a near miss, they still get the benefit of the gun shield.
Okay, that's pretty good. So my number 5 was very similar. It's the door knocker, so the 37L German anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
Now I always enjoyed that because of the multiple hits. That's a rule that I need to do more, remember it more. And vasl is the saviour of that because it always reminds me on the rolling doubles for to hit. Obviously, if you hit roll doubles, you get 2 to kill numbers, which is always great. Obviously, the other thing I also thought was I used to think that it was the Allies calling the gun the door knocker. Turned out it was the Germans it was the German name, whatever the. I won't even pronounce dare to pronounce what it might be. But the idea being that this thing isn't going to knock out tanks; it's just going to knock on the door and let them know you're there.
Yes,
which was always a bit worrying, I guess, from a gun crew. Now, other than the fact I just enjoy that gun and it's fairly ubiquitous about many early war scenarios. So the Pak 35, 36. I saw a video. Now I'm going to give a shout out to, and this guy doesn't need any more publicity because he's already as famous as he wants to be on YouTube. The Forgotten Weapons YouTube channel is an amazing channel for telling you how these weapons worked. He fires them, he jumps in and shows you the sighting tools and bits and pieces. I learned more about the counters that I love to push around on ASL through Forgotten Weapons on YouTube. And he just did one that I saw anyway recently of this gun, and it just shows you things like how the gun shield folds down, how you could put this big the big sabot kind of round on that kind of heat round that looks like a giant melon that sort of sits on the kind of is loaded on the front of the gun rather than in the breech. So an amazing channel, great gun, enjoy that, and check out his channel if you haven't seen that before. Okay. So Martin, that'll be your number 4.
Yeah. So I've gone massive with this one. I'm not sure what this is saying about me, but I've gone for the 152 millimeter OBR .37. That's a Russian. That's the Russian vehicle. The gun number is 23, and it's I think it's the largest that I can think of gun that I've seen in a scenario and used. So it's a vasl. It's double big. Hits on the 30 column against the infantry target type. So this is not something
it's throwing demo charges, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely, yes. It's not something. This is like a demo charge that you can fire across the battlefield at things. You wouldn't want to be hit by one of these things. Even against a tank, it's a 21 penetration number, which very dangerous against nearly all vehicles. And now there's a little bit of history. This is the gun they used on the ISU 152 assault gun. Those sort of late war. Yep. Sort of assault guns that the Russians have.
Yeah, were they the Stalins or I don't know if they were called the.
I'm not sure. They might well be.
Ones that you can't destroy at all as well. They're good.
Well, exactly. So they must be beasts to carry this kind of a gun on. So yeah, I thought that's a lot of fun. That's a nice gun.
Is that the one that there's one of them that you can only fire every other turn? I don't know if that's.
It's not that one.
It's not. No.
Don't the Americans have another huge gun that's like that it fires every other turn?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Maybe even the Germans seem to. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah. But these are all these scenarios we've played in the past that we kind of remember. Yeah, that's pretty good. My number 4 is very small by comparison. The 82mm Russian mortar. We mentioned this a couple of episodes ago, but it's the one that you can fire and move in the same turn, which is very useful. You can't even fire those small little handheld mortars if you move them.
That's right. Yeah.
So the ability to be able to fire an 82mm mortar and move it at the same time is great. Hits on the 8 column, I think, is the 82s. Good rate of fire, just good Russian mortar. And, I think I enjoy it. I think out of all the weapons I enjoy in ASL, I think there's nothing more satisfying than getting a great rate of fire with a mortar, because you always feel it kind of plomping down, and kind of you get that sense of just never-ending mortar barrage.
Yeah, and I mean that particular gun has a 3 rate of fire, I believe, doesn't it? It's every single, and it's not like being hit by a small one where it's a sort of a 2, and you might survive it. So no, it's a significant hit, and you might have another one to follow on. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're number 3 then.
Yeah, so similar but different. The US 60mm mortar. Now this is so different to the sort of European countries' small mortars, isn't it? Because it hits on the 4 column, not on the 2 column. I think there's a French small mortar that perhaps does that as well, and has a 45 hex range. I mean,
it's in defiance on Hill 30, so I just use it.
Italians have like 11, don't they? I think that the British maybe 13. Even the Germans, it's not
13. Yeah.
Is it 13? Yeah. Not particularly impressive. 45 essentially. Anywhere on the board that it can see. Now this is this is a couple of things I think some of its sort of features. Obviously, amazing rate of fire, and I particularly like the fact that it fires illuminating rounds.
Indeed.
I don't know what it is I like about those. Even WP after 1940, well, from 1945 on. Now, here's something I didn't know. Okay, so I read it up. If you have 3 of these in your order of battle, you can set them up off board and give yourself a radio, and you get a special OBA module, which comes down and it gives you 4 firepower in each of the sort of 9 hexes, 7 hexes, or whatever it is in the radius around. So yes, you can have a 4 firepower.
And does that come with it like a deck of cards, like a normal OBA module?
Yes, exactly, and it would be that would be set up exactly the same way as the whatever it says the Americans have in terms of black and red cards.
Right. Okay.
In the so.
Yeah.
And the thing is that makes it more than twice as punchy as having the 3 on board, isn't it? I mean, I suppose it's perhaps a bit more versatile. You can move the 3, the 3 actual counters around to different places and things like that. But it's going to come down.
Midway through a scenario, you generally have had a break on one of the man in infantry or whatever on those mortars, or you've rolled a double 6 or whatever, and they've gone away. So it's interesting. I just don't know very many scenarios that we've played that have 3.
No, that's the only thing. Now, I was playing Purple Heart Draw, and we were setting up for the second day, and I've certainly got 3 of them.
Okay.
I talked today to Martin about it. We couldn't find a mechanic which would allow me to sort of set them up off board, because sort of they're already on board.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think I'm allowed to do it unless I perhaps bought them off. I think if I bought them.
Okay.
Then perhaps.
Very good.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. That's
okay. So my number 3 was a different theatre altogether, the desert, and I remember playing a couple of games against you with the 57L, the 6-pounder for the British tank gun, and that just hit so hard in comparison to the tanks. I remember it just being a great gun that I enjoyed. Again, got a shout out to my British compatriots fighting the desert. But that just compared to all other that's Simon calling us there. But yeah, comparing to all other weapons, is absolutely the best gun for the desert for the British in that time frame, I think.
And that's sort of early in the war, is it? Sort of. Yeah.
Exactly, when Matildas and the 6-pounders are just ruling the deserts. Until the Germans bring in the 88s, and then you...
it changes the game completely. And I think you're still looking at sort of like 1942 and things like that. You're still, before all those sort of like massive weapons come into the desert, I think.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, absolutely. So there you go, so another number...
Right. Well, number 2 is British as well for me. So this is anti-aircraft gun, the 40mm anti-aircraft gun. It's gun number 21. I'm not even sure that this might not be the Buffer's gun. I'm not sure about that, but it's called the British OQF 40mm anti-aircraft gun. And I love, and actually I played you in a scenario when I had these guns. I love their multi-purposeness. First thing is, not every scenario has them, but they're quite effective firing against aircraft.
Right.
First off, and they're also extremely effective firing at infantry, but they're also very effective against early war tanks. So you've kind of got the full gamut there.
Yep.
And the scenario I remember playing with you, where I had several of these things, was... Right, so this is when you came in as the Germans on gliders. It was in Crete.
Yep.
And I don't think we had a massive...
Is this Tarantus's Ridge or something?
No. It's like glide path to hell or something like that. Yeah.
I can already imagine me not enjoying that scenario.
And so it was. There were loads of these in these little sort of like positions around where the gliders were landing. It was fun. Yeah.
You have a smile on your face. I seem to. You probably enjoyed that.
I think you won.
Oh well. Yeah.
But it was difficult. It was tough. Yeah.
Every scenario is tough.
First time I played with slopes as well.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, my number 2, and another shout out to the Forgotten Weapons YouTube channel, because I watched an episode on this one, is the Japanese knee mortar. So a ridiculously efficient piece of kit. It breaks down into 2 pieces, of which you can carry around very easily. Very, very simple design. Again, I was more interested in the way it was made, and things like, so you had to fire it at 45 degrees. All it was a little spirit level in there that you could kind of just measure your angle. You stuck it up against a tree or whatever, or some rocks, and you set the gas canister, kind of the amount that you could let the gas expand into. So the more the gas could expand into, the less it would pop out, and the less the gas had to expand, the further it would go. And that was down on a range, and literally 45-degree angle, fire. And they could even use some indirect fire support as well. And apparently the Japanese manual said, if you've got to fire these through buildings, you absolutely can stick this against a tree and aim and fire it through windows and stuff like that. And so, again, everybody knows the story, but the idea of it being called a knee mortar, and allegedly the Americans who potentially tried to place it on their knee and would obviously smash your leg completely. But the Forgotten Weapons guy thinks that was more of a myth, that actually these guys knew that you wouldn't fire that kind of stuff.
A mortar, they would have been trained and seen what mortars are like, I suppose. Yeah,
they're firing big, kind of almost like grenade, and what the interesting thing, so it's more of a grenade launcher than it is a rocket propelled grenade, rather than a mortar, actually, the way it's designed. But again, Forgotten Weapons, for a great YouTube channel, and he goes into the details of all that. And
fantastic.
So, but the in terms of those mortars for the Japanese, they are so useful for when you're defending with the Japanese. Just be able to relocate very easily, jump through and stuff like that. So really enjoy the.
They have smoke, don't they? They have WP, and they're the ones with the different rate of fire numbers depending on what they're firing.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So good stuff. So so your number 1 then. Come on.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a surprise for me. Okay, and I've never. I would have fired one of these in an American game, I'm sure. But this is the Chinese M1A1 75mm pack howitzer. So it's an American gun, isn't it? But it's obviously sent over to help the Chinese out. And what I kind of liked about this, I think, in that theatre, the Chinese v the Japanese, this is quite a big gun, 75mm, fires WP, it's a quick setup. You've got 12 firepower canister, so it's really quite an effective weapon, and all of that can be carried on a mule. That's a bit that impressed me. I thought, just think, you can like take that through the jungle tracks.
Yeah.
No one would be expecting a 75mm American gun to suddenly fire canister at them.
Have you ever played with an animal pack?
No, I haven't. No. This actually, looking through the chapter H for today's session made me think about. I can't even think of a scenario where there's a mule pack.
Okay. So we need a recommendation then for
animal
pack scenarios.
Yeah, I've done a bicycle. I've done. Yeah, I think I've even.
Martin.
Yeah. But no,
excellent.
We need to do a mule. Yeah,
definitely. All right, so for me, mine was an obvious one really. So the Pack 43, the 88mm double L anti-tank gun for the it's just a phenomenal gun. In fact, I have one in the upcoming scenario that we're going to play, Urban Guerrillas. So you'll find that at some point, I'm sure. But I don't think there's anything better in terms of when you are firing that thing and it hits, to kind of just know, okay, this is pretty much a kill.
It's a done deal, isn't it? Really, it's like getting a hit with a Panzerfaust, isn't it? Similar. That's right. Similar feeling. Yeah. Except Panzerfausts don't have rate of fire.
They don't.
This thing does.
And every now and again they hurt their operators. But absolutely. I mean, these are the fast spinning gun. I guess the only downside to it, you're not going to be putting it in buildings. It's too big for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's a large target as well. But again, not the biggest worry. Pretty good. All right, good stuff. So before we get on to our scenario, we should mention that we are playtesting still, just about finishing playtests for your scenario, and so we'll put up a new version of that once that's completed.
Yeah, and really, I think that's just a question of us, me and you, playing it one more time. I think it's very, very close to ready, but it just seems to be so much, doesn't there? So much that we're doing at the moment. It's difficult.
We are playtesting a secret project for MMP. So we're doing that, and we are testing quite a large scenario for some guys on that. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but it's interesting. And we've been asked again to playtest another thing that we potentially have time for that Toby asked us to do. Toby has agreed to play us again, and we are going to play him in To the Matter Born.
I think he's looking for some payback.
He is. This is the unwinnable game for the Canadians that I unfairly gave you.
Yes,
a little while ago.
Yeah.
So he's gonna. Now we've put our heads together. We've kind of got our setup ready, and we're going to send it over to him. I think you wanted a last look over it.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance, but I'll do that first thing. Well, I mean, unless he needs it, in which case send it off. But
okay, we can...
I think this is the thing where this is unwinnable for the Canadians, and we're probably going to get our backsides kicked, aren't we? Or possibly squeeze a lucky victory out or something like that. So
this is going to be tough, isn't it? So so you haven't seen it. Episode 3, Matterborn looks like a very, very tough scenario for the Canadians. I think in the hands of a good player, this might be more winnable than it looks. But we're going to say that
now. I'm really looking forward to this. Actually, I think it's going to be great.
All right. So let's talk Galician Getaway.
Yeah.
Okay, so Galician Getaway, sent by Kansas City Wargamers, so Circle Productions. They said give this guy a play. So let's talk about the scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first thing to say, I suppose, is it's huge, isn't it? It's about some German troops, including some SS, that are trapped, aren't they, up in the north, or the top as we're looking at it. And they essentially have to get down to the hill at the bottom. They need 10 squads, I think, to get onto that hill.
Yep.
The tanks that begin on the top board, and you have 3, I think, Mark IVs.
Yep.
if they can get either off board or onto the hill at the bot in the south, they count as 2 squads each, don't they? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, potentially you could get 3 tanks off and 4 squads onto the hill, or any combination of that. There's this quite substantial sort of Russian force in between, but it's a little bit spread out, perhaps a little bit spread. Of course, you don't know which way the Germans are going to go.
Right.
Now, there are no roads. Well, there's only one road. So if you can see where the CX counters are,
yep.
that road exists, which is the least useful road in this scenario from the sort of point of view of the Germans who are moving south. Oh, incidentally, some Germans come in from the bottom as well on turn 3 or 4, don't they, to try
turn 4, I think.
Turn 3. I'm looking at
Sorry, turn 3.
That's right. Yeah, to sort of help them out. And the Russians get reinforcements on the left and right side on turn 4, and there's OBA that come. Actually, I think the OBA might come on turn 4, and then there's Russian reinforcements turn 5, something like that. Now, the interesting feature of this scenario is the sort of metalled road, if you like, that we got going through the paved road. Sorry, that looks like going through the board 37. Well, that's my attempt to make that look different. It's not a paved road. That's a railroad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a embankment, railroad embankment or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a level 1 obstacle, and there are 3 infantry tunnels underneath. So basically, where the roads, which don't exist, intersect with the railway embankment, there's actually like a little tunnel going underneath it there, and you can line of sight, you can fire through there and things like that. So that's, I guess that's the basic situation.
And what's interesting, I think, from your point of view, so these tanks here have to set up on this board.
Yeah.
They have to set up within on hex row 8 or to the south.
Yes.
And 2 of them had to have a line of sight to a level 2 hill hex as well, didn't they?
That's right.
So,
or level 3. Yeah.
Now the interesting thing is that the Germans are going to be setting up on hex row 7 or north of. There's a little bit of a quirk of the setup instructions where it says that the Germans set up on or north of hex rows numbered greater than or equal to 7. Which we kind of had a little kind of, well, okay, if I'm on or north of hex row 10, does that mean I can go on 9? We kind of said, okay, that will be 7 and north of.
Yes.
But it does mean that they're starting right on top of these tanks.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, I think, there's a chance that I get a couple of these tanks away. I don't think they're all going home at the end of in history. That's the truth. I wasn't sure which side to put them on. I suppose I didn't have to put them together, but I thought they had a little bit more chance of getting some shots back and things like that, perhaps, if they were together. Yeah.
And now, okay, so you're set up. So you had to set up a little bit more constrained as well with these 2 groups of Russians as well, didn't you? You had kind of split into 2 halves. That's
right. So one of those groups had 2 anti-tank guns, pretty good anti-tank guns against Mark IVs anyway, and the other group had 2 82mm mortars, and then there was a selection of infantry and machine guns and leaders, of course, as normal. But both forces had a very different feel. And you can decide which you want to set up on the left and which on the right, but you can't mix them up and mix and match sort of thing.
Right. So in terms of the setup, you were fairly comfortable with this setup. Your tanks kind of protecting the left flank, your anti-tank guns protecting the kind of the central areas, and I guess a little bit weak on the very far right hand side.
That's right.
Which is obviously very difficult for me to get my tanks through that. So.
Yeah, so you do run. So if you have to take bog checks, once you're south of the embankment, the German tanks have got a +2 to any dice rolls because the ground's considered soft and mud for the purpose of bog checks. So that's +2. I think the Mark II's are normal ground pressure, so that's +3. So that's actually even an ordinary bog check is a significant risk of bogging.
Exactly. Yeah. So 9 turns, quite a long time. Your OBA doesn't start until turn 5. Plentiful ammo, 120mm. So when I was looking at this setup, I was kind of very
So just to be cleir, the OBA comes on turn 4. The Russian reinforcements, the ground forces, come on turn 5.
Right. Okay. So we're going to flick over now to my setup. And then we'll do that. Okay. Right. 2 seconds. Okay. So basically, my setup was all geared around just trying to take out the tanks. So obviously, I can't see now the hip guns and bits and pieces. So my whole plan was just to take out the 4 tanks on turn 1 as best I could. I had my heavy machine gun and medium machine gun ready just to try to prevent Martin crossing over from the right to the left hand side of the battlefield. So the guys up here were going to be just trying to stop that, and I was going to push heavily through on the left. And this was a little bit guided by Toby's advice of last week, where he said, absolutely commit to a side. That's the plan. That's the way forward. So obviously it's all about my first turn of trying to take out as many of these tanks as possible. We're looking for generally, is it what, nines or so, maybe 10s to hit, maybe 11s even with the best, the closest guys, and then it's about 6s to kill. So and we were a bit surprised really that almost any setup is going to allow the Germans to attack like this. So it kind of led me to think, well, maybe the Russian tanks have got to be put in a position where you're expecting the German push, and then you defend against that push. With that said, so for example, if you'd have set up right in the middle, and then expected me then to come through the middle with a heavy push, you perhaps can let the sides not have to be quite so widely spread. But that was my setup. I don't know. I guess you feared turn 1, Martin.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure whether you would set up to destroy them or set up to completely avoid them. I wasn't sure.
Right. Okay.
If I'm honest. Yeah.
All right. So let's scoot through turn 1 and see what happens, and then we'll talk about that. So it was pretty brutal, wasn't it, to start with?
Yes.
So we destroyed 1 tank, destroyed a 2nd tank, destroyed the 3rd tank,
and now it's Panzerfaust, isn't it, for the next one?
That's right. So remembering that the scenario here, I've got nearly 20 squads, and I've got to get 10 of them onto this hill at the bottom here. So already at this point, I was feeling like, okay, this is
felt like a long way to go.
Yeah, this is pretty, but about as good as it could have been, really.
Yeah.
Here. So we'll just scoot through this first term.
I felt quite good about one tank surviving, and he even manages to sort of hold them off a little bit.
Yeah,
residual. Yeah.
Absolutely. You then took a shot, didn't you, on your turn?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking there's 2 points sat there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you got a shock.
Yeah.
I think I took a Panzerfaust with every one of these guys, and everyone.
You were very unlucky with the Panzerfaust attempts. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like to complain at this point, having knocked out 3 tanks.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because apart from the tank, I couldn't respond to your infantry moving forward. Because there were set up restrictions. I had to be south of the embankment, so I couldn't see anything. So you just got that sort of relatively free run.
Yeah, exactly that. And so this is where we got to on the end of your turn. Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing really is I had to CX everything that was on the right hand side. Unfortunately, I had that kind of heavy machine gun, a very, very long way away from the action, and needed to sort of like get him across the board really. As well as all the anti-tank guns misplaced. I wasn't sure whether I could move them completely because the tanks can move fast enough to choose an alternate route. So I wasn't quite sure, what the best way to handle this was.
Okay, so here's where we got to, which was the Panzerfaust attempts, and then we killed the tank again in my defensive fire.
In my turn 1, that's right.
So moving forward onto the embankment railroad here, it was actually quite difficult.
Yes.
Got caught out. We talked a bit about this at the end of the game, where you didn't have a long line of sight on anything level 1, and potentially this building back in 03, if you could have got there. I know it was difficult.
Yeah, would have made you lose concealment when you're advancing up onto that, for example. It would have been a good idea. And I think in retrospect, it would have been a good place for the sort of heavy and medium machine gun with a sort of 9-1 or 9-2 leader sort of thing. Yeah. As well, that would have been. I couldn't set them up there, but they could perhaps have set up in order to be able to get there.
Right.
Early in the game.
So here's where we are at the basically the end of the German turn 2.
Yeah. Now you were already moaning quite a bit, but I knew that I was quite weak over there.
Yeah. This is where at this point I thought I was. Yeah, I didn't think I was doing terribly, but and in fact I was thinking at this point this is almost actually this should be a fairly straightforward win for me at this point.
Yeah.
Because I was looking like a completely clear run.
Yeah.
Now your reinforcements come in on the 16, the left hand side of 16 and the right hand side of 16, and so the question is if I could get down there quick enough to be able to prevent that. I was feeling like I should be okay.
Yeah.
So we got into melee, and you were then left with this awkward position with a squad with a demo charge and too many targets to throw out.
Yes, too many targets, and in a really bad place from where we couldn't route, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. So you fired. Now, what did you deliberately destroyed the demo charge here, didn't you?
Yes, was here when I did that, was it?
Yeah, the CC5.
Rather than have you capture it.
Yeah, or throw it. You didn't want to throw it as well, because I wasn't sure if you were thinking if you broke you were instantly dead.
I guess that must be what I was thinking, yeah.
So I was quite relieved for that. So there was, you then broke me here, you started to relocate things.
Yeah.
We start talking about your reinforcements that are coming on.
That's right, yeah.
And we managed to break one of your guys. So you had 2 squads in here. I fired into that close combat.
Yes.
And you, I got lucky there. I passed the morale check, and you failed one, which was.
But at the end of the day, you're always going to be able to rally your guys, aren't you? And I'm falling back, and they're having to abandon them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit of repositioning for you, and I got through. Killed the guy that was routing away, and you repositioned. So at this point, everything was going well for me.
Yeah.
I was feeling pretty good. I was expecting these to be. I remember I asked you about how many dummies you had. I think you said there was 4 on each side. I think something like that.
Yeah. But I only set up about 2, I think, on each side.
Yeah, they're very sneaky, and that comes back to bite me later on, definitely. So, let's get through some of this. So this is now my movement phase for turn 3.
Yeah. I had lots of things to fire. I had the mortars, but it should have been more obvious to me, I think, that I was being overwhelmed.
Right, and this is where I started to really struggle. So everything now, I couldn't get past what looked like a fairly straightforward route around.
Yeah.
There was problems around here. I couldn't get through this woods very easily.
Yes.
These guys on the edge of the wood, let's not point them out now, all around here.
Yeah.
Really difficult to get past.
And they've all got machine guns, so they can fire lanes through the grain. Yeah.
Exactly. And your mortar turned up and was in a good spot there. Your mortar was brutal there.
Yeah.
Started to tear off stuff. So this is where I struggled.
You of course spotted the perfect way through the woods, because of course that on that whole half of the board, that's the only place where the Mark IVs can come through without a bog check.
Right. Yeah. That was the trick.
Yeah.
So then it's a case of sleazing you. So brought the tanks into Silesia, which is a little bit dangerous because they are worth 2 squads each, but I absolutely need some help here to get these guys through.
It was the turning point, I think. It was a major turning point in the scenario.
Right, and so then you put the fire lane out. So now we should point out you've got a fire lane going across this hexagon here. Sleazy or great tactical play? You be the judge of this, Martin.
Well, no, it was sleazy.
So think about it first before you answer the question. So a crew exposed tank decides
backwards and forwards with their head out.
Yeah. So this is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not sure if it's just yet. It might be the next turn they do it.
Yeah.
We lined up ready for it. And we kind of just.
I eventually got the 666, I think, didn't I?
So basically, so basically,
there it is. No.
No, I think what happened was you laid the fire lane maybe in the next turn.
Yeah.
And that's when I drive the tank up and down.
Yes. So I think you're right. Yeah.
So meanwhile, we had this bit of a standoff here, didn't we, in the middle?
Yeah, the guys on the hill. Yeah, they were great up there because they made it much more difficult for me to sort of reposition. But now, of course, you're sort of you're saying standoff exactly. Yeah.
So I didn't want to come up onto the top of this embankment here because I'm thinking these guys here will be able to shoot at me and potentially these guys as well. They're doing a good job to stop anyone kind of travelling down.
Yeah.
The longer this game goes on for, the more I'm going to be convinced that this 04 guys here are just dummies.
Yes.
So we'll see how that works out for me.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you're going to do a bit of repositioning.
Very, very good progress through that difficult wood.
Right, exactly. So the monster starts firing. Okay. At this point, my reinforcements have come on.
Yeah.
And we've got a tiger now. Interestingly, here, these reinforcements don't really matter for the victory conditions, do they? They are pretty much throwaway units. There's no CVP cap. It's all about getting these guys here, the SS guys, back onto this hill.
That's right.
So you can be.
There's a point, I think, where you run infantry at me and I don't fire at it because you just want me to fire at it because it's the guys that are running the other way in a minute that count. Yeah.
And I've got kind of plans here that if I'm getting too slow, I'm going to be able to jump on these tanks as riders, and I'm going to kind of drive them off as riders.
No, I didn't think of that. That's very clever.
But, I didn't get anywhere close to doing that. So
sure.
So then you start moving your gun.
Yeah.
We take a shot. I think I get the. It was a motion shot with this tiger here with the machine guns, long range motion. That's like a 1, maybe a hazardous movement, maybe 1 there too.
Yeah.
And so.
And I was thinking I only need to get 1 more hex and I'm safe behind the building. That was
That
was the plan.
Yeah. So then we have the my stack here tries to catch your large stack out here.
The thing is, those guys running out are the wrong guys, really. They're because they've got very short range. I needed to be able to get the machine guns out there.
That's right. Yeah. So my machine guns are going to sort out as best they can, lift you with broken squads and broken leader. And the 527 is going to be the one guy that probably you would have rather lost.
Yes, in the woods.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy that basically
holds back the swarms of Germans.
That's why you don't want to see a 527. So again, we've got some more blockage up on this railroad. We can't get over it as easily as we thought. And then this is where now the tanks really now are going to kind of push you as hard as they can.
And the thing is, those stacks of Russians are mostly broken. Although they're coming back pretty quick because I've got at that point I've still got quite a good leader over there.
Yeah, and you've got your medium machine gun here, which is fairly safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Okay, let's load the next one. Okay, Okay, so it's German turn 4.
Yeah.
You've got, let's have a look here. So you've got your light machine gun, your 628 ready here. You've got your medium machine gun. Again, both set up nicely to do some fire lanes across the one stretch of ground. And I'm very aware that I've got basically now one more turn before your reinforcements going to come on, and your OBA is going to start to get ready.
Precisely, yeah.
So I'm kind of I want to get past this horrible ball 16, which looks horrendous too. And we were saying as well at the time that really the Russian OBA can win this game on its own almost, can't it? If I'm coming in one big lump.
Yeah.
So there's me rolling a double 1.
It's a very interesting thing with OBA, isn't it? Because most of the time in ASL you want to be focusing fire, you want to be bringing your forces together and breaking strong points. But of course you need to spread out when there's OBA around. So it creates an interesting sort of tug.
Exactly. So here's me freezing your medium machine gun here.
Yes. And I think that is the last thing that can give effective fire out into the grain, I think. At that point.
So you've got your light machine gun here and your mortar. So this is where you put your fire lane. So you put your one firepower fire lane out here. And this is a good fire lane because it's going to stop these guys running through it, and it's very effective. So this is where we get a bit sleazy.
Now, when you move into normally when you leave residual, that stays when a tank moves into your hex. But did we play this right? Is it okay for the fire lane to remain in place?
So it's because the squad hadn't first fired already.
Yeah.
The squad have to are triple point blanked. Restriction, but I believe the fire lane still exists because they didn't have to.
In the way that other residual stays after those sorts of things have happened.
Because they didn't have to subsequent first fire; they only first fired.
Yes.
So I think we played that right. That the fire lane stayed. So at this point, I'm just going to run the tank backwards and forwards. To take the one up.
So this is the sleaze. This is the bit you were asking me if I thought it was sleazy. Yeah.
And have you come to a conclusion yet? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tested.
So I think my ideal rule change on ASL would be that you have an option to roll the fire lane or not. The attack. And obviously then you can ignore even things like broken half squads or whatever that might be going through it. I don't know. But needless to say, I don't get you to break the machine gun. You did pretty good. But then I sort of move into the fire lane with my 658 and break it straight.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's when now the floodgates open and I'm able to start running. So again, I only brought two squads down here.
I was thinking it was maybe not too bad. Yeah.
The Tiger comes up to try and help. The Tiger DMs these guys. These guys now start digging foxholes on the hill up here. I wasn't really quite sure what was going to happen here, whether your reinforcements would be running back to the hill or whether they would engage me further up the board.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt as we were playing this that I should have positioned my setup better to be able to reposition onto board 16, and actually that building in the centre could potentially really dominate this battlefield, couldn't it? If the heavy machine gun was up there, you'd be struggling.
So here comes the OBA. This is now you got I wouldn't say lucky. You got great OBA, but your first shot was unlucky, wasn't it? And this is a big thing. So you put the AR here,
which in retrospect was foolish actually, because it's so close to the board edge. It's almost 50-50. It's going to go off, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. And
so it did.
Jump on the board, and effectively resets you back a turn, doesn't it? For your
that's right. Yeah.
OBA, which is a big difference, isn't it? Because
that's
really what you needed. So we're basically mopping up the Russians here. Didn't so lucky here.
No, and in fact, you were convinced that those guys in the centre were dummies, and
these
that
guys
actually
here I still think they're dummies now. I still think they're dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tell me anything other than they aren't. So we jump in now. I had a bit of a question here about whether or not I had 2 half squads, a light machine gun, and I was trying to work out whether it was better to combine the squads and then have the light machine gun later on, or whether to keep them separate. And to try and repair the machine gun later on, or whatever it was. I remember there was a bit of a debate about that. This is now where I start to really chew through the Russians in close combat. Generate a hero back here as well, which really helped. He was a pest for you, wasn't he?
Yes.
And at this point, it's going okay for me, but
it's still hard work, isn't it? It's still hard work.
Absolutely. Now, I'm making light of this scenario. I was moaning throughout this scenario. It was so difficult for what seemed like a one scenario at this point, because I'd broken through. I hadn't lost a lot. I hadn't lost any of my tanks. You'd lost all your tanks, and yet everything felt difficult. Every time I moved into a new hex, there was a mortar firing at me, or there was a set of concealed guys that were sprung out. And nothing seemed to be dummies. That was the other thing.
Yes.
I was convinced that everything was dummies, and just didn't find any dummies at all. And I think that's what really helped you in terms of, my morale was so low. Because it just felt like, well, this has got to be dummies. I know you've got four dummy counts on both sides, and I'm being a bit sloppy about how I was, checking each one. And so, for example, like in the middle here with my fanatic squads, up here. Both of these have to be dummies, and I'm convinced that these guys have to be dummies because I hadn't found any. It's just crazy. So
I think one of them is a dummy on this side. But not.
So
I was having a horrible job trying to get the heavy into any sort of decent position. But it was going to, although it isn't it can actually influence the battle where it is.
Right. Yep. So it's Russian turn 4 here. So this last turn before your reinforcements are going to come on.
And
we're now going to load up the next.
And I kept thinking, really, when we were at this stage in the game. I mean, you're obviously sort of poised to start, moving quite quickly across board 16. I've got reinforcements coming on, although now you've got a squad, albeit a CX one, ready to fire on my entry hex, haven't you? Because they have to come on here. Here. But I do have the mortar firing across your route of escape. I've got this firing on it. I potentially got the heavy machine gun, which is hipping down, that can see right out to sort of out as far as this. So I'm thinking, well, it's not hopeless. I've still got reasonable units like the 458 and things like that. There's a machine gun there, and I'm kind of hoping that. In fact, I've got a machine gun here as well. It's only got a 6x range, but and the OBA is going to come down. So I think there's quite a lot in your way.
And that machine gun is going to reach out to here as well, isn't it, with long range?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
absolutely. So
if I get proper lodgement in that wood, have the OBA dominating the centre, and albeit the units in the woods are lost, but for a couple of turns they're going to hang on there and make life difficult for you. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm in with a good shout here.
Yep, no, absolutely, and I was struggling. I was absolutely struggling here. So tigers are coming up to try and help out. Tigers here. This tiger wants to really get back and try and protect against the incoming troops here. So we've got these guys here now. The my tanks turn the turret towards your anti-tank gun and start to run. And they're doing okay. These guys can't break through the centre of your troops.
My non-dummies.
Yeah, exactly. Your non-dummies. And exactly that. And you were shuffling them around as if they were dummies, and I was buying that bait completely. We had the mortars firing. I can see the OBA is going to come down at any point. So I decide to set one tank up here, because you've got a tank coming on either the left hand side or the right hand side. So I don't know which way it's going to come. You've had to pre-agree which side it's going to come on.
Correct, yeah.
So I'm just banking on if it comes on the left hand side, I'm in a bit of trouble here. But the guys on the left hand side have to enter on this hex.
A5, AA6, yeah.
And this is problematic.
Yeah. And you're ready for that.
Yeah. So we start to run. Now I've got to kind of spread out now. This is the problem. This green field doesn't help, but I'm spreading out because I know the OBA is going to be quite bad. We've talked about harassing fire as well. You whack me with your heavy machine gun. Finally gets a good line of sight. I completely missed it.
Yeah.
And I pay for that.
Just shows how effective that would have been in the right place.
Exactly, yeah. And suddenly I've lost another squad. And I'm starting to think, am I going to get anyone over here?
Yeah.
It's feeling difficult.
Yeah.
Your OBA comes down.
Very nice place, yeah.
Yeah, it's perfectly spotted there. It's just blocked.
The problem is that I've not brought it down on the guys nearest the victory sort of areas. But then the risk would I would have brought it down on my entry hexes.
That's
that would
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're a bit stuck for where you're going to bring that.
I was quite pleased with the OBA at this point.
The Tiger's doing a good job.
Sterling job, yeah.
Here.
I could now begin. I'm beginning to feel the my ability to resist waning a little bit.
But my morale at this point was so low.
It was very low, yeah.
I was because I was thinking, well, you're gonna come on here, and if you get anybody here and here, even if it's a squad or two squads here,
-2 shots if you try to get a move. Yeah.
Pretty horrendous. So I can push through the middle, and you can see we've actually run through. But this one guy here is the guy that's going to be doing the job of trying to stop you, and I want to get one more squad. So at this point, I was thinking I needed 2 squads off.
Yes.
And it's 4 squads. I need 4 squads on this, as well as the 3 tanks. And suddenly I'm going to struggle. I'm thinking, well, okay, I've got these guys here, but we are struggling a little bit.
Yeah. And at this point, we don't know that the 3 tanks are going to make it, because I have got. I can't remember if I had an acquisition on one of those tanks, but there's a chance that anti-tank gun's going to hit one of those and take out one or even more of those. And in fact, you stopped the one in the middle. Yeah. That's the one I thought I had a chance of hitting and taking. And they've got APCR of sort of a 6 or something like that. It's a good gun. Yeah. That 45L.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm the only reason he's there is just in case I didn't want your tank to come running round and have a free shot at all 3 tanks.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's why I stopped him. So,
and that was the side my tank came on, unfortunately. That would have been better if it had been.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So as we can see, your tank is set up on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. So the FFE takes out the Tiger, which was unlucky for me.
Yeah.
And you're kind of tearing apart. So bear in mind at the moment, obviously these units here aren't going to count for getting people off. So down here and here, these are the reinforcements. So right now I've got one squad out of the 4 that I need to get back onto this hill.
Yeah, and we've labelled them, haven't we, so we didn't get them.
Exactly, yeah. So if you see a WGG, this is the Waffen Grenadier. So, this guy isn't looking particularly happy with he's got a lot to do, and one cower result here is going to be really quite bad for him.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of rallies. I think there's another guy there.
Yeah, that's an
fire miss that tank. Which I got lucky on. And then your guys come on. Now you did the right thing here. You moved the guys in the north first of all. Now you brought the 9-1 on the demo charge in to start with, and that's a good move.
Was that he would he passed the morale check. Yeah,
and that's a good move, because obviously in theory you can throw that
Yeah.
that prep fire shot. But he's eliminated on the wound check, and suddenly now I'm able to get a little bit of residual. So these guys have done their job in that they've got some residual, and you really just want to get some guys here. I mean, in my mind, if you get a squad or two here,
it's making life very hard.
This guy isn't going to get off. He isn't going to make it. So
the rest of the guys make it on, I think, don't they? Mostly.
You get one break, but you get two squads here that are okay. And I think you decide to bring these guys on as an advance.
As an advance, yeah. Because by then you'll be in close combat.
Okay, this is unfortunate. This tank duel for you. So you run the T-34 crew exposed, which we know through me playing Steve. I know actually Tony reminded me that crew exposed T-34s can't fire their main armament. So the Tigers do the easy version of the Dance of Death. You need an ASB move here to try and go either through these hex or.
Because I thought I was going to win the gun duel with you.
Right.
But of course, I couldn't fire my gun. Yeah.
But you were still in motion as well. So there was a.
Yes, that's true.
About that. But
that's
anyway,
right.
You roll for your ESB roll a 6.
Yeah.
So immobilised there, and my Tiger misses your T-34.
Remarkably, yeah.
So I think that's no problems at all. I've got obviously got a great shot.
Yeah.
In my prep fire.
As I was being a bit greedy with the that CX group, that group coming on, trying to get as far as possible on that.
Yeah, because
they made it. Yeah.
We're always saying as well, this side of the ball almost doesn't matter, doesn't it? I mean, it was almost We're almost too far away to count.
But actually, they do come in towards the end, and they potentially could have had an impact on the game.
Absolutely. So what happens now? So we've got my heavy machine gun starts to be a bit of a pest to your guys here. So we kind of still mop up here. Back here, you don't manage to break these guys yet.
No. Oh, with my advancing fire shot, no, that's right.
And so you've routed. Okay, so you've gone into close combat here.
Yeah.
This is looking pretty good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one move that I think was good for me in that if you'd have brought these guys on here and then advanced them to here, that was where I was going to be in trouble.
Absolutely. Yeah. A mistake there.
Yeah. So what we got here? We've got close combat. There was no.
I seem to remember winning it.
These ones up here. Yeah, and we've got the melee here. So
LA, that's right. So worst possible result, really.
Yeah, exactly. Because now you can't get these guys.
Yeah, I can't see anything.
That's right. Yeah. So you do. You don't rally this guy here, which is good for me. Okay, so here's my Tiger. So my Tiger, rather than firing in prep fire, decides to be clever and wait till the movement phase. You were saying to me, "Oh, do you want to fight Tiger?" I was like, "No, got a plan for him." So I was going to in movement phase, first movement point, take the shot. Which is basically, it's 10s, it's up to 12 for range.
It's still a good shot.
Yeah, buttoned up, he's down to 11, and then obviously fired as a bounding fire, it goes down to a 9. And I can also roll a 10.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, it's in there, and then sorry, I missed him on the last one, and then killed him there.
I think that tank does get some bad luck.
I think that was the intensity. I think I had to intensify because this was what we talked about whether I can intensify or not, and I'm still not 100% sure about a bounding fire intensifier shot. So let us know, guys, if we got that wrong. But that was an intensifier shot that I actually took there.
We decided we couldn't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to, because it says any fire phase.
That's right.
Yeah.
So then I come in with the machine guns.
Yeah.
These tanks are just going to come off. So
yeah.
These two tanks have just run off. There was no shots at them.
Yeah. I've got -2 on the one in the middle, but it's they still miss.
Yeah. So this is where we get these kind of throwaway squads from the reinforcements are now.
Yeah, potentially very useful. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm quite happy that you're firing at these guys because to me, you're not going to be firing across.
Well, that's true, and obviously that's why you're doing it. But at the same time, if you get me into close combat, then they're not firing at anything, are they? So it's yeah.
So I'm able to start running this guy off here. These guys are able to throw some smoke to help this tank.
Yeah.
And then starts. You miss the shot, and he gets off. So.
So at this point, you've got your 6 points safe now.
6 points are safe,
and it's like you're going to get another one.
This one here for 7. So here, then I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, these guys now have got to make a difficult run off.
Yeah.
So this is my 8th and 8.5 point off. But again, I'm thinking, well, okay, I've got to get another 1.5 squads off here.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's turn 6. I have 3 more turns to go. This guy is unlikely.
It's just beginning to get to that point, isn't it, where you have to calculate it, because there's a chance that there are things that won't get off unless they, move directly in the right direction.
Right, exactly. Your heavy machine gun is being fired, I think, at this point by the squad here. You've gone berserk with the conscript.
It's going to charge the tank, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. You pin me here, which again is pretty...
Yeah, potentially impactful.
Yeah, pretty awful for me. So these guys now start running. And again, I've got to spread out because of this FFE.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, this is where I decide these guys must be dummies, and I'm going to just try and get rid of this heavy. And of course, you jump out with a very well preserved.
It's -1, I think, or whatever it was.
Exactly. Yeah.
12 -1.
-1.
Yeah.
You get my. So I managed to pass with my leader, and then crews are going.
But I got the sniper.
Yep.
Yeah. Which breaks another unit in the woods.
So up here, I think maybe this is final fire shot. You get them.
Yeah.
So,
well, they do route back to the woods. So now.
Right. Yeah. So basically, there was a final fire shot that manages to break them all.
Yeah.
Apart from the leader. You get another black shit.
Yes.
So this is now.
It's the one that was harassing fire.
I believe so. Yeah, this is now harassing fire. Now again, I was surprised you hadn't brought it back to here.
I don't know where you mean when you say here.
Oh, so I'm sorry, of course. So I thought you were going to bring your.
Yeah, I think I thought about it. I think there was a danger. Right. So this is after an FFEC, isn't it? Yeah. So. No, so I got to do an action round, haven't I? Yeah.
Let's see, you put the action round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously it's great here where it is. It's going to stop.
Right. Okay. I know what I was thinking. Okay. So I'm thinking that covers the middle of the board, and I've got forces to some extent on the shoulders, on each shoulder of the FFE. So that's kind of dominating the centre, and then I've got infantry on the left, and I've got some firepower on the right as well. That was the idea.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. So my guys in the my mini machine gun and my heavy machine guns will be left behind, and they're all looking a bit sorry for themselves. Because my leader had pinned up here as well, so he had a break to come back up to here. And again, it's just, I mean, Martin, you were great for bearing up with my moaning because it was miserable, and we were, I think we were talking about whether, it was at this point it's hard to see who's going to win.
Yeah, we were trying to work out if it was possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and even for both of us, wasn't it? We couldn't work out if it was possible for me to win or possible for you to stop me winning. So
it was remarkable how it felt. It was so unclear actually. Although it's beginning to, I think it's just beginning to kind of tip your way here actually, but it was never really clear what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at so right now it's turn, it's about to become turn 7.
Yeah.
Really, I'm sorry, these guys now look like they'll get off to the hill as well.
Yeah.
But I still need, these guys to get off, or I need these guys to get off.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a... Oh, okay. So now your berserk conscript charges my tank.
Yeah.
My machine guns do nothing, and then my main armament 6.
Yeah.
And it's on an intensive fire shot. So that's recalled.
Yeah. That's right. It was recalled. Yeah.
So you go to capture my crew and guys up here.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of a dance in the building.
That's right.
With close combat. These guys in the foxholes still doing nothing really. The medium machine gun, they didn't do an awful lot. And I get lucky here. I pin you and then break you with my half squad. And again, if you can get your guys any of these spots here, this guy just isn't going to get off.
Yeah.
So my guys are
just trying to get the machine guns into some sort of position to make a difference.
Yeah, and so here you've got your machine gun there now. So this is now looking, a little bit bad for me, I think. So at this point, I think you may have forgotten to move these guys over here. I think that was.
It was a crazy day, wasn't it? We were both balls and all sorts of things going on. I think I got distracted at that point. Yeah. So they just advanced, but they didn't move. Yeah,
that's right. And obviously, we would have been happy for you to move it, but you wanted to play that we hadn't. And we were talking at this point that it really feels tough on the Germans, doesn't it? Because looking at what I had managed to achieve in the first turn, and looking at how far I'd managed to push through.
Yeah.
It still looked impossible, and you were, for example, forgetting to move a whole bunch of guys for one turn, and admittedly, I'd kind of misplayed this area here, the machine guns.
Sure. Because I think we both felt that I'd not played my best game, sort of thing, and that.
I think the argument for getting these guys covered first of all down here.
Yeah, but it wasn't straightforward to do that, because the guys that advanced would have advanced into the 4, the hex with 4 residual, which is at the top, because you put 4 there, and the guys in the south would have been moving into a hex with only 2. So I see, but you wouldn't have put them all into close combat. You'd have put at least 1 into that hex. Yeah. But then I suppose what I was scared of is that I'd lose the rest of the force. When it advanced on, it'd be your prep phase. You have an 8 flat against them. Yeah.
And to be fair, you've got your guy here now with shots against this.
I'm thinking it might be enough. It might be enough there. Yeah.
Right.
And you're getting ready to run the gauntlet.
That's right. Yeah. So turn 7. So you got your guys upstairs here now. Now you won this close combat, and I think you. Oh, maybe not yet. Okay. Oh, so this is the tiger now.
Just going off, isn't it?
He's coming back up to try and protect. think it was. Oh, no, sorry, it was recalled. That's right. Yeah. It was recalled. So this is the hero now being a pest.
Yes.
Doing a great job because it's going to limit your firing opportunities.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is again where I can use these guys now as almost free cannon fodder. So running these guys up in front of this machine gun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's take a shot here.
I'm not firing at them.
Yeah,
but
I mean it's crazy.
It's a crazy situation, isn't it?
Yeah. And this was, one of the criticisms I think of this scenario was it was a bit of a strange thing to be able to be throwing Tigers away and throwing squads away just to get these SS guys off. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's a scenario about trying to get these encircled guys off, isn't it? And I suppose that's the focus. We did wonder whether they could have had a CVP cap for the force that was helping them, but then we just thought that would add to unnecessary to complexity. Yeah,
because you're already trying to make sure that you're making the difference between the guys coming off and the guys coming on. And, so then the 658 down here, in order to try and get off, places smoke in its axe.
And I was disappointed you did that.
Yeah. You fire at him anyway.
I think I play a fire lane as well.
Yeah, and I get lucky on some morale checks.
Yeah.
So I get lucky, I pin.
Yeah.
So I don't think you did.
It doesn't look like it, does it? No.
So I'm able to get another half squad. This guy here is he's caught in the.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm debating whether I even move in one hex or just sort of sit there and wait for the OBA to come down. So here's an attempt of smoke that didn't work. And here's now where you go. So now here's where your crew can't fire.
Correct, because they're restricted by your leader.
That's right. But you are able to get the shots off here.
Yeah, the heavy was able to fire, wasn't it? And the guys upstairs.
That's right.
Yeah, and I don't think there are any breaks, but
there's a pin in there. Yeah. So here's me trying to offer your prisoners as bait. So the prisoners are now gone.
Yeah. Now this is tough now for me, isn't it? Because you're getting past me, and you don't need to get much past me.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. This is surprisingly short distance compared to this longer distance that was quite close. So I've worked out now, given we've got a couple of turns left, where I've got to get these guys. But you bring the FFE2 down perfectly.
Yeah.
It's going to hit a lot of these.
And it's still on hindrance at this point. It wasn't it? Yeah. So this is where I'm beginning to think that the guys coming in from the east could influence the game, because there's now a narrowing gap between the FFE and them.
Right.
And indeed, the heavy can now potentially fire through the grain, to the south of the building in the centre rather than to the north of it.
Right, exactly. So, what have we got going on here now?
This is resolving the.
So this looks like it's going to be some advances.
Yeah.
Again, taking some OBA in the centre here.
Yeah.
Managed to get the half squad here. So at this point, I've got two guys now on the heels. This is 1.5 of the 4 that I need to get.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he probably will do it, although I've got to just worry about these guys here.
Yeah.
In terms of the in the woods, and I'm hoping that perhaps one of these guys as well is going to get lucky and get off.
It's starting to increasingly look like you'll do it, though, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it does. Yeah. I honestly I was mentally exhausted on this one. It was like every turn had been slapped in the face, because it was mortar coming out and reinforcements and OBA hitting, and
You found that tough, and I can understand that. But I think that's exactly what the designers were trying to recreate was the murderous mayhem of trying to run this sort of a gauntlet. Yeah,
that's fair.
And I think in that respect, very successful scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really well placed FFE again. Comes down looking good. Catches my guys. I get lucky here. I think I pass all of the morale checks, I think.
Yeah. It really starts to look like you're going to get there. But you can see how impactful the OBA can be.
That's right. Yeah.
It could have decided the game there and then almost.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think you're about to start thinking about moving it, aren't you, towards the hill?
Yeah. Yes, I'm thinking my only chance now is to get a lucky shot and break some of the guys on the hill. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Because I'm assuming they had to be good order. I can't remember now. Yeah.
They were. Yeah.
Yeah, unbroken. Yeah.
So interesting. So this guy up here is now broken, which was my chance to try and prevent you from firing out. You fire into these guys here.
Yeah.
And don't achieve anything.
Yeah.
The heavy machine gun takes out this guy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I get a little bit lucky here. Now your guys on the right hand side are going to come into the game, aren't they? That's what we're going to see more. So this is your turn. Your turn 7.
Yeah. But this is where your Overwatch is helpful, isn't it? Because you have a
mortar and the yeah. So you're coming through the grain.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to have a brilliant shot, and it's their last chance, but they can have some sort of a shot, potentially.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's, And at the moment they're all okay. So we have some mutual routes and break in here. Okay, so we have a melee in here now.
Yeah.
So you ambush me in this melee, and you decide to not kill him. This was the ambush 7-1.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I roll a double 6.
That's right.
And this is where,
because I was kicking myself in a way, because in a way I shouldn't have done it, but I thought, I might as well kill him because it's 7-1.
Yeah.
But then I missed, and I could have ambushed you and just got out of close combat, couldn't I? And But anyway, it works out.
Anyway, so I roll a double 6. So you then get to withdraw.
Yeah.
And you come back here, which is potentially, I think, maybe coming upstairs was
the right thing to do.
Better one to do because of the shots against this guy.
Yeah.
Potentially this guy, if you wanted to. These guys.
Yeah.
Which obviously you're still going to be shooting these. I think you wanted to put the fire lane, didn't you? I think your plan.
I wanted fire lane. Yes, exactly.
That was the plan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So okay, and I think we're even talking about a fire.
And the thing is, they got very, very short range. Everything that's there. The only thing remotely lengthy is the light machine gun.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to see how do I handle that. Right. So we've got some rallies going on. I managed to rally this guy here. Okay, so
wounded leader. Yeah.
So up here, your guys are starting to fire. My prep fire. I'm trying to break anything that I can in here.
Yeah.
Machine gun goes on a rate of fire and breaks everything.
Yes, yeah.
To order, really. And lets this guy really.
So this guy really's made it, hasn't he? He's got 2 turns.
Yeah. So your heavy machine gun.
Yeah. No, I did think I might have some luck with that, but no.
11 there.
Yeah.
Now the problem was he couldn't get very far.
Yeah.
And I was still a little bit nervous of your OBA. It was going to come down.
Yeah. I think what saves him really is the fact that he's not my only problem.
That's right. That's very true. Yeah. So here's where I suddenly get very conscious that these 2 guys down in the hill shouldn't be next to each other because of your OBA.
Yeah. And it becomes my strategy to try and sort of flip an OBA onto them. Yeah.
That's right. So
I can't see. In fact, do you know, I can reveal my my hip guy. Yeah, he can't see the guys on the hill, but he can potentially see somewhere, and it can, like around here, and it can just head off in that direction when it's not accurate. Yeah.
So obviously he's at level 2, and that hill is blocking that. So at this
actually,
point,
that's right. That position, I think I do have a go at it, don't I? Because I think I might be able to see it, but I can't.
Yeah. So I bring these guys up here purely to just keep these guys DMs. I want to keep as much of this DM to stop you jumping back down here.
Yeah.
So that's the plan here. We get lucky on the OBA.
Yeah.
There,
another squad through, isn't it?
Half squad, is coming through.
Half squad, yeah.
You've got a shot here against the grain. Pin check and I pass it.
Yeah.
So now we've got the this guy here who's going to try and avoid the fire lane. Obviously can't necessarily avoid your heavy machine or my heavy machine gun now firing against me.
Yes, yeah.
But it doesn't roll low enough.
Yeah.
So now these guys are deciding whether they're going to fire or not. And obviously, because you realise that I'm going to walk down against the way of the fire.
Yes.
So I walk this way.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you're not getting a lot closer to the hill because it slopes away from you as you follow the fire lane. But nonetheless, it was it's the right move to make. Yeah.
So now you're trying to fire, and of course now this is when you really need your launching gun, you break it. So the FFE comes down here now.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad for this guy. Snake eyes. Round check. So looking good. We DM these guys here. I'm able to route towards the exit conditions. Was always a good ability to do that when you can do that.
That's true.
Okay, so now here I've got two and a half guys on the hill.
Yeah.
I've got these guys broken with another half squad coming up, and these guys. So at this point now, it's looking good for.
It's pretty much certain that you'll get what you need on the hill.
And I finally was able to relax really.
Yeah.
So we should point out at this point I think you'd drawn. You had 7 black chits and two red.
That's yes.
And I think at this point, or potentially the next one, you've drawn. Yeah, this is where you went.
Yeah.
The AR here.
Yeah.
No line of sight here.
Yeah.
And so it's lost completely.
That's right.
And that's pretty.
That's very significant. I mean, it was very long. Very much a long shot to get to hit guys I couldn't see by. Hoping it drifted in the wrong direction, sort of thing.
Yeah. So a little bit of shuffling now. You're just trying to get the heavy machine gun with a little bit of because obviously the heavy can still fire potentially.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have some broken guys here. I think they had some shots.
Yeah.
Break. At this point the mortar is feeling quite good.
I even use the anti-tank rifle, don't I, for a lot of a shot, yeah.
That's where I couldn't work out the movement values of hill. And it's finally feeling like the Germans can do it here.
Yeah, definitely.
So you managed to bring a switching round.
Another black chit, and that you were moaning about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see it was six blacks, no reds. And then your last attempt is needs an extra red chit, doesn't it? That's the next extra draw.
Yeah.
So here's where you can put you're able to put your spotting request out. Your action round out here. You try to put your action round out here. You have to draw another card because there's no one in the sight, and you pull your red card, and that's the game. The Germans win. So what do we think?
Well, that was a journey, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, it's a huge race. I think I could have played it so much better. I'd quite enjoy working out a setup again. I think I'd have a very different set of plans actually. But it was it was hugely challenging. I think for both of us.
Yep. No, agreed. It was it was one of those. I was saying, in a way, I won it, but it felt like a defeat. It felt brutal. It felt. And in the end, I got enough guys off, and it felt, it was close, wasn't it? It was close. It was only going to be two squads here or there.
Yeah.
Either way.
I mean, in the end, you got quite a few off, onto the hill. But in fact, it was, only sort of a turn and a half before that. It didn't look clear at all that
exactly. Yeah, it the tide kind of opened, didn't it? At one point.
Yeah.
And I think you were aware of how little troops and how little coverage you had. But to me, I just think I'd been slapped around all the way through that so much. Where it came to.
We did wonder a little bit whether it was, favoured the Russians.
Yeah, it felt like that only because I think you were no fault of your own. You were distracted. You had a lot of schoolwork to do, didn't you, at the time? So you were being distracted by that.
Yeah.
And I had the luxury of not being distracted.
So that was the day that I set work for 450 children, and it was wrong, and I knew it was wrong, and I'd been correcting it, but the whole day I got emails from kids going, "Oh, this works wrong." Yeah.
We're going to chalk this victory up to your school children.
to my utterly incapable IT skills might be what we chalk this victory up to. So today, this swings the pendulum back slightly in your direction.
So I think now we are 10-7. I think.
Wow.
10-7.
Wow.
So you are 10 wins to my 7.
Yeah. So you must have done quite well at the beginning. You must have got the early wins.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, we are still counting to the manor born.
You are, yes.
It's very true. So we're, like I said, we're going to play Toby next.
And actually, we have a 100% success rate against Toby at the moment. So it's. I think we should bask in the glory while it lasts.
Just refuse to play him ever again. I think that's the plan. So anyway, I guess let's talk Toby's advice. So
yes,
good segment. So here's Toby giving some advice around which units to move, when, and in which order.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's Toby Pilling here again. The question I've got to answer this week is, in the movement phase, what is the best order to move units in, and why? So again, it's quite a broad question, and I'll take it mostly from the infantry perspective, although we'll be able to see that tanks can fit into this. And I should say as well that I'm speaking here about generalizations, really. There'll always be exceptions to anything that I say. So, it'll be like, broadly speaking, it is advisable to. And it is advisable to usually move units that are within the line of sight and the closest to the enemy first. Or should I say there are advantages to doing so. Because if they shoot... then, according to subsequent first fire restrictions and final fire restrictions, your unit that is near them will restrict their further movement, their further firing, against units that are moving towards them from further away. So there are advantages in doing that. Of course, it should also be said that, and this is kind of common sense, that if you have units that wish to provide cover to following units, basically by laying smoke, then they should move before the units that they're trying to cover, of course. Assault moving is usually wise to do early on in a move. This is partly because the enemy will very rarely shoot at assault moving units, because they know that they're not a risk anymore. They're not moving any further forward. So it's a very safe move. And it's generally sensible to move concealed units assault moving forward first, because if the enemy shoots at them, the residual they place in that location is halved because they were concealed when the shot took place. What else? And I suppose dashing units as well. Dashing across the road in line of sight of the enemy. Again, because the move, is only going to be 2 hexes, and the shot in the dashing location, the road location is halved. Again, that halves residual firepower, and it's relatively safe. So let the enemy waste first fire shots on bad shots, basically. And of course, the other thing I'd say is generally move low value units first. So the good old half squad will tend to be the ones running forward first, tempting the enemy into taking a shot, and hopefully the enemy will waste that shot, and then they'll, again, because of subsequent fire restrictions, and you never know, you could always get a cower result on the enemy. And then there's one sort of hint or tip that I would definitely give, which is to anyone, it's always sensible to make the easy moves last. Okay, so by that I mean, say you have 3 squads of leader in a gully or on the flank, and their whole move is going to be spent hurtling forward but out of line of sight of the enemy. There's a big temptation to make those moves first, because you think, I'll get the easy moves out of the way. I'll get them out of the way, then I can concentrate on the more difficult ones. My advice is, and this is difficult to follow, but it's to actually leave those units to the end. Because although you know that they're going to be safe throughout the whole move, and that's why they're easy, of course your enemy does not know that. Until they've moved, they have the potential to go almost anywhere. So by leaving them until the end, every other move you'll make, the sort of more difficult moves you have to think about, they will be affected because the enemy doesn't know, will have in the back of his mind, what about those units on the flank? What about those units in the gully? If I shoot now and waste all my shots, where are they going to go? So he will tend to be more cautious about firing if the more units there are that haven't yet moved. So that's a little piece of advice that I think almost always applies. And the other advice I've given is more sort of general stuff. That's it.
All right, so that's brilliant from Toby. Thanks very much again, Toby, for that.
Yes.
And, I'm always going to try and learn something extra, and we've got a good follow-up question as well. So as I mentioned earlier, Dave Shannon, great comment he's left on YouTube on the last episode. Feel free to go back and have a look at that, about the question he's going to ask around prep firing. And he wanted to point out as an excellent point as well, so thanks again, Dave, for pointing this out. Dan Best's contribution again to ASL's Summer Archive, as everybody's is really, really appreciated. Dan plays a lot with a guy called Grumble Jones, who again contributes a lot to the archive. And Grumble Jones has an amazing ASL blog. Martin, I don't know if you've seen this.
I'm flicking through it, as I've seen it before, but I'm flicking through it as we're talking, and it's amazing. Yeah,
it's really funny. So the AARs are, they're humorous. He puts some memes in there. Yeah. They are very readable. They're not dry. Some ASL, some are even like ours. Sometimes can get a bit dry. His is funny, and it's on point, and it's well worth reading. So, and
he's got the maps up there with the little arrows and everything, so you can see exactly what it is that he's about, and actually a little bit of history stuff. There's sort of photographs of real photographs of the train, and
the maps as well.
Real maps. And very, very a lot of thought and time has gone into this. Yeah.
So link down below for that. So that's Boxcars again, ASL blog. blogspot.com, but look down below for Gromit Jones's blog. And
it's quite interestingly, actually, I've just stopped on one at random, and the very first line is, "The plan did not work." That sounds like
everyone's ASL.
So many ASL games, yeah.
All right, so before we remind you again that our live game is coming up on Tuesday, the 19th of May. This video is going to come out very soon, so we'll get that up probably on Tuesday, the 19th of May. But if you're not watching this, then watch us play live Urban Gorillas. But we have a top tip for you from Martin in a new segment called Barker's Top Tips. What do you want?
Barker's Best Bits, whatever. Yeah, I don't mind.
Best Bits.
So this came out of the game of John O'Reilly a week or two ago, and I didn't realise you could do this. But when you have a fortified location in your setup and you are not told which hex that has to go in, you can, if you want, exchange it for a tunnel, which is up to 3 hexes. And playing John O'Reilly the other day, and these tunnels, I had 3, maybe 4 fortified locations. At least 3 of them I converted to tunnels, and they were so useful. You can route through them. You can wait until the enemy are right on top of you, and of course they think they're going to get a kill here, but they're not going to get a kill because in your turn you simply disappear. Underground works a little bit like sewers. You go under and you come up at the end of your movement phase under something like a sewer counter, and you advance up into the other entry hex at the end of the advanced phase. Just absolutely brilliant. You can use them to re-infiltrate as well, and you could potentially not use them to escape in that way, and use them to sneak in for some nasty Japanese close combat kills and things like that, sort of ambush kind of situations. Really cool, really good fun things to play with.
And when you told me about this rule, I straight away went to the rulebook and said, why haven't I realised this? And because the first line of that rule says tunnels are not applicable only applicable DYO or by SSR.
Yes.
Except if you've got a fortification. Yeah. And it's I literally have just read that paragraph 30 times and have never once considered to be able to use a fortified location instead of a tunnel. So
it's a good tip.
Yeah. So I like that, and so feel free. Martin, you've got to find another one for next week.
Right, I didn't realise the pressure is on now.
Scour the rulebook for that. So Martin, thanks for the game at the Galician Getaway. It was very good.
Absolutely, very good. Enjoyed myself.
Looking forward to Urban Gorillas. I'm going to send you a setup right now, so you are prepared for that one.
Right. And interesting, the game we had today, although I didn't win, because your morale kept failing, it kind of felt like I won many times.
Anytime I look miserable to you is a victory, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. It was a good game, and we enjoyed it. So thanks again, Kansas City guys, for the pack. It was a good. We're going to play more from that pack as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've had a suggestion for our Seaborn Assault, Martin, which will be our next.
Brilliant. We had more than one actually, but so I think we've selected one, haven't we?
We're going to go with White Beach 1. So from Blood and Jungle. Looks like a nice, interesting Japanese defending against the Marines coming on. Caves, OBA, just the usual ASL fare that we're used to these days. Seaborn Assaults, caves, OBA, mines, landing craft, you name it, we've got it.
There's going to be a little bit of studying going on, I think, before we play this.
There will be. And you were happy to take the Seaborn Assaulters.
Yeah.
So that means I'm going to brush up on my caves and my my shooting at people in the water.
I think caves are easy from the defender's point of view if you haven't got a complex.
That's right. Yeah, no cave complex. You're right.
It's more about the attacker having to work out what the hell to do about them. Yeah.
The hardest thing on this one may be setting up the vasl board because it's a diagonal overlay.
Yeah, I don't think vasl will do that, but we can do it with with they call the draggable overlays.
You're a vasl these days. You'll be able to sit down.
Well, no, you're a defender. You're setting this one up.
Okay. I do want to point out as well, there's a lot of setups already on vasl for all sorts of scenarios. I'm going to start to make that a little bit more prominent on the Scenario Archive because I think having those uploaded, if they're not already there,
Do you know what the difficulty with them on the scenario archive is? That another version of vasl will come out and they'll all become not relevant, and we won't know, they won't all get replaced immediately. That's the difficulty with it, but they are amazing where people do them. People do a very good job usually.
And as we saw last time, there is an army of people prepared to help out, so I think if we get a whole bunch of 6.5 vasl setups going for everything, that would be great. So we'll do that. So everything else okay, Martin? Yes.
I think so.
Tuesday.
All set for Tuesday. Okay. As soon as I get you set up and I can start working on how I'm going to dismantle it.
You will, no doubt. And all right, well, thanks very much for the game, and enjoyed it. And apologise again for whining. I certainly whined throughout that one, but again, good scenario. We had a good time. Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, and see some of you on Tuesday with a little bit of luck.
See you on Tuesday. See you on the live replay. Cheers. Bye.